All right, listen up, RPG lovers. We live in a golden age of role-playing games, where every other week, some developer drops a massive, sprawling world filled with side quests, questionable moral choices, and, of course, inventory management that would make an accountant sweat. But with so many RPGs out there, how do you know which ones are worth your precious time? Grab your potions, sharpen your swords, and let's dive into the 10 best RPGs that you absolutely need to play. Cyberpunk 2077, the game that went from meme-worthy disaster to one of the best RPGs ever made. All thanks to a few years of updates, patches, and Keanu Reeves reminding us he's breathtaking. Set in Night City, a neon-drenched dystopian playground, you play as V, a mercenary with a brain problem so bad it makes existential crises look like minor inconveniences. At launch, Cyberpunk was, let's say, a bit of a mess. Cars flew, NPCs teleported, and some bugs made your character's pants disappear at the worst moments. But thanks to updates and the Phantom Liberty expansion, the game finally lives up to its promise. The world is alive, the story is gripping, and the customization lets you build everything from a sneaky hacker who melts people's brains remotely to a cybernetically enhanced tank with a baseball bat. Plus, let's be real, there's something magical about speeding through Night City at 200 miles per hour while blasting synthwave, knowing full well that your next mission might involve double-crossing megacorporations, fighting cyber psychos, or just going on a date with a hot nomad. If you've ever thought, what if D&D, but everyone sets things on fire constantly? Then congratulations! You've just described Divinity Original Sin 2. This game is what happens when an RPG says, you know what? Let the players do literally anything. You can talk to animals, teleport people into lava, or turn an enemy into a chicken mid-fight just to humiliate them. The turn-based combat is deep, tactical, and wildly chaotic. 1 minute, you're strategizing the perfect move, and the next, your buddy accidentally electrocutes the entire party because they forgot water conduct's electricity. Every choice has weight, and with multiple playable origins, the replayability is off the charts. And the best part? You can play it co-op, which means your friendships will be tested when someone in your group inevitably steals from a vendor and gets the entire town trying to kill you. Imagine if Lord of the Rings was also a bromance-filled road trip where the Fellowship wore designer clothes and stopped every few miles to eat Michelin star meals. That's Final Fantasy XV in a nutshell. You play as Noctis, a broody prince trying to reclaim his throne. But the real magic isn't just in the fast-paced, real-time combat or the ridiculously beautiful open world. It's in the bond between Noctis and his 3 best friends. These guys don't feel like typical NPC party members. They feel like real people. They joke around, argue about dumb things, and even take selfies together. Yes, the game has a built-in photo album feature, because what's a fantasy road trip without capturing memories? One moment you're fighting gods, and the next, you're helping a friend take the perfect picture of a ramen ad. Somehow it all works, and by the time the credits roll, you'll wish you could go on one last camping trip under the stars with your crew. Welcome to Fallout New Vegas, where the world has ended, society is in shambles, and somehow, gambling in post-apocalyptic casinos is still a thing. You play as a courier who gets shot in the head, survives, because why not? And then embarks on a mission to find out who tried to off you. But along the way, you'll probably get distracted by mutant lizards, deranged robots, and an Elvis impersonator gang. The true beauty of New Vegas is the sheer amount of chaos you can cause. Want to talk your way out of every fight like some kind of nuclear-powered debate champion? You can. Feel like siding with a Roman cosplay enthusiast and taking over Vegas? Go for it. Maybe you just want to ignore the main story and hoard bottle caps while living in a bunker full of laser guns. That's an option too. New Vegas doesn't just let you play an RPG, it lets you live in one. Every choice matters, every faction reacts to what you do, and no matter how much you try to be the hero, the wasteland has other plans. Also, yes, you can befriend a cybernetic dog, which, let's be real, is the best feature in any game ever. If you've ever played an RPG and thought, I wish this had more political drama and dragons, then Dragon Age, Inquisition is the game for you. You play as the Inquisitor, a person who, thanks to a freak accident involving a magic explosion, is suddenly responsible for saving the entire world. No pressure. The world of Thetis is a chaotic mess. There's war, religious conflict, backstabbing nobles, and demon-infested holes ripping open in the sky. And guess what? It's your job to fix it. You'll gather allies, build an army, and, most importantly, throw the most dramatic Winter Palace party in RPG history. Seriously, this game has an entire section where your biggest battle is navigating noble gossip and avoiding scandal. The companion characters are the real highlight, though. You'll fall in love, make enemies, and probably adopt a weird magic bull man who talks in nothing but sarcasm. And when you finally face the final boss, let's just say it's one hell of a ride. If you've ever finished a game and then sat there, staring at your TV, wondering if anything will ever be as good again, congratulations! You've probably played The Witcher 3. You step into the monster-slaying boots of Geralt of Rivia, a gruff but oddly charming dude with a knack for finding trouble and making morally ambiguous choices. The world is ridiculously massive, and just when you think you've seen it all, some old woman in a random village sends you on a quest that turns into a full-blown novella about a cursed goat. The real magic of The Witcher 3 isn't just in the satisfyingly brutal combat or the fact that you can spend hours playing Gwent, a card game that is dangerously addictive. It's in the storytelling. Every quest, no matter how small, feels important. You'll fall in love with the characters, question your life choices, and wonder how CD Projekt Red managed to fit this much personality into a game about a guy who bathes in swamps and talks to ghosts. If you ever wanted to feel simultaneously like an unstoppable warrior and the world's most uncoordinated gamer, welcome to Elden Ring. From the minds behind Dark Souls, this game takes everything you love or fear about Souls-like combat and drops you into an open-world fever dream. Picture yourself walking through a golden field, admiring the scenery, when suddenly a 50-foot knight riding a horse 3 times too small for him obliterates you in half a second. That's Elden Ring, baby. The story is, well, let's just say you'll need a PhD in cryptic lore to fully grasp what's happening. But who cares? You're too busy rolling around like a caffeine-fueled tumbleweed, dodging lightning bolts, and screaming every time a boss decides to have a second, third, or fourth health bar. The combat is precise, brutal, and rewarding, and when you finally take down that boss that's been kicking your teeth in for hours, you'll feel like you've conquered Mount Everest. And yes, the game lets you ride a horse that double jumps, because physics is for people who don't want to fight a giant fire-spewing lobster. Do you love Dungeons & Dragons, but hate waiting 30 minutes for your friend to finish debating with an NPC about bread prices? Then Baldur's Gate 3 is for you. This game takes everything great about tabletop RPGs, the choices, the dice rolls, the chaotic nonsense, and wraps it up in a gorgeous, fully voiced, emotionally devastating experience. Your choices actually matter here. You want to romance a vampire? Go ahead. Feel like betraying your entire party because an eldritch brainworm is telling you to? That's an option. Want to yeet a goblin off a cliff just because the game lets you? No one's stopping you. Every decision feels organic, and no 2 playthroughs are ever the same. But let's be real. The best part of the game is accidentally setting yourself on fire while trying to help. It's a tradition at this point. We all know it. We all love it. We've all bought it at least 3 times. Skyrim is the RPG that simply refuses to age. Whether you're shouting dragons out of the sky, getting lost in a dungeon for 6 hours because you forgot the main quest existed, or modding the game until it breaks, Skyrim is an experience unlike any other. The beauty of Skyrim isn't just in its massive world or the hundreds of hours of side quests, it's in the absolute nonsense you can get up to. 1 minute, you're an honorable warrior sworn to protect the realm. The next, you're a werewolf who stole 300 wheels of cheese just to see if you can crash the game. And let's not forget Lydia, your first companion, who will happily walk into every single trap in a dungeon while complaining about carrying your burdens. Skyrim may be a decade old, but it's still one of the best RPGs ever made. Most RPGs let you start off as a hero, a chosen one, or a demigod. Kingdom Come, Deliverance? Nah. You start as a peasant who barely knows how to hold a sword. And let me tell you, that first fight where you get absolutely wrecked by a dude with a wooden club, it's humbling. This game doesn't just simulate medieval life, it forces you to live it. You have to eat, sleep, and even learn how to read, because, surprise, your character is illiterate at the start. Combat isn't just about button mashing. It's about realistic swordplay where you have to angle attacks properly, watch your stamina, and pray that your armor holds up. the world is historically accurate, meaning no magic, no dragons, just gritty, brutal medieval politics, castle sieges, and trying not to die of food poisoning because you forgot to cook your meat. It's frustratingly real, but once it clicks, it's one of the most immersive RPG experiences out there, and there you have it. The 10 best RPGs that will consume your life, destroy your sleep schedule, and make you forget that other genres even exist. Whether you're hacking through Night City, fighting gods with your best bros, or getting destroyed by medieval realism, these games offer some of the best adventures gaming has to offer.